Welcome to the lamp project step 1, make square dowels. They're usually round. The first part you use machines you've used before. Use the miter saw to cut a length. Then you use the jointer to surface one face and one edge to square it up. You'll plane the opposite face to exactly 3/4 of an inch. You'll rip a 1 5/8 inch board on the table saw, and you'll check the thickness of it using a test dado slot. So part 2 is a new machine, the bandsaw. Your goal is to rip the 1 5/8 inch board into 2 3/4 inch dowels. So you'll start with your long board. The fence should be set slightly bigger than 3/4 of an inch. You're going to use this push stick here to keep your fingers safe. You want to make sure you're pushing the board flat against the fence all the way through. If it goes diagonal, then your wood won't be the right thickness. You can use the push stick to hold it tight against the fence, and when you get near the end of the board, you can take the push stick and put it on the corner so that your fingers stay far away from the blade. After you stop the machine, use the brake to stop the blade completely so that someone else doesn't come up and think the machine's off and cut themselves. Part 3 is using the time saver. Your goal here is to sand down the dowels to exactly 3/4 of an inch. So when you come to the time saver, there is a gauge on the left side that you use to set the height of the table by turning this wheel clockwise or counterclockwise. In this case, counterclockwise to lower the table down. Notice that I've lowered it down so the top of the board is just at the top of black line where 0 is. If the gauge is lower than what you need, as in this case here, then you'll turn the wheel clockwise to raise the table up. So I'll hold the board and I'll turn the wheel clockwise until it raises it up just until the top of the board is at 0. Be sure that you don't accidentally bump the emergency stop bar, as I do here. Oh! That will throw a break into the machine, and then I'll have to open it up and reset it. So be careful when you're going around the machine not to bump that by accident. To turn on the machine, you push in the 2 orange buttons, and then you pull each one out. One turns on the head, the other one turns on the feed. Then you're going to feed your dowels in with the rough edge up, and that will sand it off a little at a time. This depends on how many times you want to do this. You turn the wheel 1 turn each time, and it depends on what wood species you're working with and how thick the wood is to start. This might take 1 or 2 times, it might take 5 or 6 times. It all depends on the wood that you start with. When your wood thickness is getting close to 3/4 of an inch, then you're going to need to start to check it with the test dado board. So here I am checking to see if it fits in to that slot. Nope, it's still a little bit too thick, even when I try to push. So I'm going to raise it up and put it through again. And then I'm going to check it each time until it has a nice snug fit. You don't want it to be too loose, and you don't want it to be too tight. So as you can see, when I test it this time, it's almost fits. I'd have to force it in there, which I don't want to do because I don't want to break off the top of that other dowel. So I'm going to do one more turn and one more time through the time saver. You don't have to put one board through at a time. When you do it, you'll put both of your dowels through, and you can do this with a group of people where you all put it through and then you turn up the wheel, move the table up after everyone has gone through once, and then they put it through again. Now you can see I have a nice snug fit. It's not too loose. To turn it off, I push the orange buttons in. It takes a few minutes to wind down, and I want to make sure that it fits into test dado both directions.